Hello, I don't know if I'm live yet. I just know that I'm sending it out, so we'll see. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Memorial Day for what, Americans only, I think. Let me see. So it looks like I'm live on Twitch. If somebody wants to tell me whether I'm live on YouTube or not, I'm gonna look. Let me see. We are live. Yay! Yay! Hello, everybody. So, welcome to another Imagination Hour here. I'm Matt, or Variance. This is basically the hour a week. Normally, I try to do these on Saturday, but like the hour a week where I talk about AI and kind of like also show you guys how you can start making stuff with artificial intelligence. And that's really what I want these to be. So I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to get on here. I know it's Memorial Day weekend and this is gonna be recorded, so anybody that does want to watch it later, but please guys, share this with people as well, because like my goal with these is to inspire many people to go out there and create stuff with AI, right? Like there's so much opportunities and things that you can do. And honestly, like this week, it just became like a lot easier. Before, you know, like I've been a huge fan. A lot of my content is created with Google Veo. So them releasing not only a tool in Flow, but also Google Veo 3, which is kind of like, it's a few layers deep, because obviously there's certain subscriptions and stuff that you have to be a part of to like fully get the ability to use it. But it's so extreme. And listen, I don't even have to, this is like a Chat GPT 4.0 image generation moment, right? Like I don't have to tell you guys about Google Veo 3 because you probably have already seen it on the news, on the internet in general, right? This basically is Google's video generator that not only can generate very good video, right? But it also is incredibly good at doing sound, and it can do voiceover, it can do emotions. And when this came out, like even this step up from 2 to 3, like 2 is so incredible even in itself, right? At realism, at a bunch of stuff, but you still have to do a couple of these other things, right? Throw it into editing and all this stuff. And I think a lot of us, even in the AI fields or communities, in this creative space, did not expect to have such a leap so quickly. And now in my brain, I'm going, oh, movies are a year out, right? Like you being able to do the whole thing almost, like even say, cut to scene here and then have it cut and have consistency even, which is, as you guys know, not only hard to accomplish, and it's not quite there yet with Veo 3 or with Flow, and I'll show you guys that today, but because my goal is just to kind of like show you guys how to use it and get into it and use it for some of your stuff. But also I'm going to preface this by saying I get that it's expensive, right? Like I get that not everybody is going to have access to it right now. I know that they'll bring out different tools and allow everybody to use it just like they have with Veo 2 now with Veo 3. But still, like today, mostly I'm going to talk about Veo, how you can get started using Veo 2, and how if you want to, there's kind of inklings that Veo 3 is coming into the lower tiers of their subscriptions too, right? So as far as the things that you can and can't create with Veo, I think that out of like, it's even more open than Sora in my opinion, and like what it lets you do and not do. What do I mean by that? I've been able to generate copyrighted characters. I've been able to generate and now they have image to video, which I haven't really messed with. I'm planning on doing that after I get done talking with you guys here. But the crazy thing about it is like when you prompt for multiple things, it's incredible that it really doesn't have a problem with implementing blood. Sometimes it doesn't have a problem with implementing like horrific stuff. Like, of course it's going to kick back sometimes and go, sorry, I can't generate that. You know what I mean? But I think a majority of the time, it does let me go through and make it, right? And so it's kind of like showing me inklings that these companies really don't care about, one, where copyright is going to go. Because obviously, I don't know if some of you guys have seen some of the Veo 3 videos, and I'll show you guys some of them. But there's some Veo 3 videos that straight up have YouTubers' voices in them. Or, you know, I saw this video the other day where this person generated a video of two people talking, and one of the people that was in the video had Jordan Peterson's voice, right? And it's like a very iconic voice, right? So that just shows, you know, okay, Google Veo 3, both the audio and like the background music, the noises, everything were really probably trained off of YouTube, right? And YouTube content, which means if you've made something on YouTube, odds are you helped train Google Veo 3 to be as good as it is right now. We're not going to get into like copyright and all that shit. I don't really care about that. Like, I don't think that those issues and those things are going to survive artificial intelligence, especially when people start creating, and I've said this multiple times, creating stuff that's better than what the studios make. Like, say if somebody made a Star Wars movie that was way better than The Last Jedi, right? Just throw a little bit of shade at The Last Jedi, although all the new ones I don't really like. But somebody makes one better, right? And they upload it on YouTube. Then you have the ability to just, yeah, that's funny, his Kermit voice, Jordan Peterson. But like, you have this ability to make something that's better than the studios, and it's catching up very quickly. And so I think what the studios will do is they'll partner with things like Veo and partner with YouTube and Google in general, and do some type of revenue split with people that make stuff, and they'll put some type of tag on it that says AI fan film or something along those lines, so you know it's not like a big studio production. But there's no way that they're going to flag and take down all of this stuff on top of miss out on the money that it's going to generate, right? Like, Google wants to make money off ad revenue, Universal wants to make money off ad revenue. They all want that. And so I think when creators go out and start utilizing these tools to make better movies and make better art, you're going to see this like massive shift in the way that studios run. It's going to piss a bunch of people off in the film industry, because obviously a lot of these studios own the characters, but then at the same time, like, the actors played the characters, and it's like they're somewhat iconic and synonymous. It's like Harrison Ford and Han Solo or Indiana Jones, right? If you used Indiana Jones, you almost are like imitating Harrison Ford. So does Harrison Ford get like a say in anything that gets made with Han Solo or Indiana Jones? Does he get money from that? There's a lot of questions that are going to have answers over the next few years, but I'm for one excited about it. And if you showed up here and you're ready to you're excited and you're ready to like make stuff with these tools, and you don't really give a shit about all that, like me, then this is the community for you. This is the place for you. I'm going to go into a couple of things, but before I do, I'll share a couple of tools that you can utilize. One is my website, infinitevariance.ai, and I'm not just plugging this just because, like, I try my best to keep all of the stuff that's important on this website so it's easy to find, whether it's stuff that I'm creating, whether it's my social media or the latest streams. But the thing that's going to be the most important to you, even if you want to have nothing to do with me after this stream at all, is this resources page. I try to keep this updated with the process that I go through to create things. Let me zoom in with that even more, right? Make it not so bright. But I go through this entire process and show each and every step in some of these imagination sessions, or you know, the imagination hour, and on my channel in general. But I try to keep this list updated outside of the fact that, like, I make videos, right? Like, I try to go in here and update each one of the tools. So you'll scroll down here and you'll see things like the best large language models to use, and I'll zoom in on this. I don't know why my camera is doing that. 1 second. Get rid of that right now. Okay, so like, this is all the best large language models that you can try out, the video models, and I'm updating this after this because there's a big one that's come out, right? And we're going to talk about it pretty much after I'm done doing my spiel here. But here you'll find like all the different tools and stuff that you can use, all the tools that I use, things like prompts for getting GPT to help you learn anything, how to get it to stop talking like a robot or a weirdo and get more natural language. This is stuff that you can put in your custom prompts. And then getting GPT to name itself. I firmly believe in using AI and large language models as collaborators instead of using them as tools, right? Because I believe the further it goes, you're going to want it's going to become a collaborator anyway. So why not just start there now? Give it a name, start working with it, start giving it the projects and the things that you're working on. And if you want some of that stuff, definitely subscribe to my channel because I got more of those types of videos coming out on how to use AI and ChatGPT. Like, say if you want to build a YouTube channel or you want to build a business or a website, I've used it to help businesses and all different kinds of things like that. I believe, and all this is free. Like, I believe that these tools should be utilized by everybody that can get their hands on them, no matter what age you are. If you wanted to start a business tomorrow and you're 80 or you're 18, right? You could be younger, but still, like if you're 18 and you want to start a business, I believe GPT can help you take that from step one to completely like as far out as you really want to go with it, right? If you wanted to build a movie studio, you can start with, I just want to start with YouTube and get all the way to that spot. And so subscribe to this channel if you want more of that stuff because I'm going to talk about that. But today is mostly about Veo. And, you know, I'm going to say as well, I get that it's expensive. There's two plans that you have to, or you have to be at least part of like one of these plans, unfortunately, to use Flow right now. And they are the $19.99 or, you know, $20 a month. I'm just going to say 20 bucks a month Google AI Pro plan. And you can see like in the drop downs here what you get. But what you really want is Flow with Veo 2 and these 1,000 monthly AI credits, right? So believe it or not, with what I'm about to show you, if you run stuff on fast with Veo 2, this is like each video is 10 credits. So think about how many Google Veo 2 videos you can make now. And you're going to see how easy it is to string them together, do all different kinds of stuff when we get into Flow. But, you know, if you wanted to step it up a little bit more, there's this $25 a month model. I don't really see that big of a difference between these two other than like the storage difference and the $5 a month. But this is like the bare minimum that you're going to have currently to do what I'm showing you how to do moving forward with Veo and Flow in this Imagination Hour. So with that said, signing up with these is easy. You just go to flow.google, pull that up. But you just go to Flow and you should have the ability to upgrade over here. It's going to, if you try to generate something, it's going to say you don't have any credits or you need to subscribe with the banner. And just pick the model that works best for you. I am a degenerate with AI stuff. So the moment that they announced this and they were like, it's $125 a month for 3 months and you get Veo 3 access and 12,000 credits and all this shit, right? I was like, awesome. Like I'm going in on this because I had already been playing with Veo 2 on like all these other different services and stuff for free. And I'll show you guys at the end of this how to do this for free. There are ways to generate Google Veo 2 footage for free outside of Flow. And there's like a couple ways to do it. And I'll show you, but there's limits on that and kind of like caps on it. So it's going to be based off of really like how much time you want to dedicate to it, right? But with Flow, I feel like they've made everything just so much easier. And I can see now how they're trying to have, Google's trying to have this like one-stop shop subscription for all their AI products, right? Whether it's Gemini, whether it's their Imagen for generating photos, or of course Veo for generating videos. All this stuff, I see they're implementing it all into Flow. And Flow, I'm going to go to the page quick just for Flow. Flow Google. It's just going to keep bringing me back here. Okay, so here's Flow, right? The next wave of storytelling happens with Flow. This is basically the collaboration between a couple of big people in different areas in different worlds. They brought in people that were filmmakers and creatives to help create kind of a place to make things instead of taking more of the engineer technical route to it, which I think OpenAI keeps doing. which makes it easy for somebody like me to get into, but incredibly hard for somebody that's just like wanting to make stuff to get into. Flow utilizes multiple things. It utilizes Google Gemini. So Google's large language model, I've said Google like 40 times, but Gemini does these prompts. It figures this stuff out for you based off what you're asking. So when you see me start, I do have a prompt guide, and you can find that on the resources page with all the rest of my prompt guides. But for like Runway and Sora and all that stuff. But I really have had a lot more success and fun just kind of like playing around with it, you know, and like prompting it, smaller prompts, bigger prompts, seeing how it does with action, how it does with all this stuff. And I'll go over some of the things I've generated on this in general. Yeah, I am. Like, I love this stuff, truthfully. So Flow is the AI filmmaking tool built with and for creatives. So a lot of, I can play this video hopefully without them flagging me. You shut the music off. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I gotta maybe fix it. I don't think you guys are getting audio for that, are you? One second. This is what happens when you have like multiple things going on. If I play this, let me see.
Falling into place.
Okay, I'm gonna replay this video just because it's fun.
I don't know if I'm on the right path, but I'm trying to find it. I'm questioning, searching, and then something shifts, and I'm not trying anymore. I'm just doing. And all of the pieces.
So obviously it's named Flow because of the flow state, and I'll say that it's very much built around this feeling, right? And obviously there's like certain things that limit it right now, like compute and how much that costs, like how much it costs to generate these things. But it's good to remind yourself that like this stuff is going to consistently get better and cheaper and easier. But it really, really is insane to me that they've taken this approach, because I feel like, truthfully, as somebody that wants to like share this technology with like as many people as I can, they like gave me a massive blessing with this, right? Because it gives me the ability to like introduce it to you guys in more of a helpful and relaxed way, instead of having you have to talk with ChatGPT and bring in the prompt guides like I showed you last week and do all of these different things. It's like, no, what would it feel like to just imagine what I want? And I was sharing this with my dad the other day. It's like, because sometimes he'll have these funny ideas, right? And a lot of my family will. It's like, this would be a funny little skit, right? You can make that now. You can make that with audio. You can have the people saying the jokes. You can do all that right now with Veo 3 in Flow. And it's like, what is that going to do to the next generation of children that have that? What's that going to do to all of the people that are older too, that always had an imagination to create things, but haven't had the tools necessarily to make it happen, or like computers were in the way? Because this is going to become more of like a verbal thing as it goes. But, you know, I love Google for what they've done here. And really, I wasn't a Google like advocate. Like, I don't really use Gemini that often. I have started to, now that it's like a lot better in 2.5 and stuff. And I got the access to them as part of this subscription anyway. So it's like, okay, now I'm going to start using them more. But man, I'm just incredibly happy to be part of like this movement, and to be part of using these tools to create like the next generation of stuff on YouTube and on the internet and on social media and in general, right? Like, I think a lot of people are looking at this as a film killer, but like, or a Hollywood killer or whatever you want to call it, right? Like that fear mindset. I don't believe that it's that at all. Seeing this basically means that if you were a cinematographer and you wanted to sit there and practice, right, you could generate shots and see how they would look. Now, obviously there's like, if you're a woodworker and stuff, you're still going to be working with wood with your hands and stuff, but you can generate ideas. It doesn't just like, people don't get this or understand how far it goes, because I think a lot of people see it as a, you just put something in AI and it generates it and it's done, right? But it's so good for reference. It's so good for iterating on ideas and coming up with things, right? Like say you wanted to crochet something, you could have it generate soon a whole entire tutorial video on how to crochet something, and say, I want to crochet an elephant. What would I need for that? It will give you all the stuff that you need to go buy. I mean, at that point, it could even order it to your house. It would get shipped to your house. And then you'd start crocheting and following along with Gemini or what it made with Veo, the tutorial with Veo or whatever, and crochet an elephant. And it's like, that tutorial didn't even exist yesterday, right? Maybe the elephant has polka dots on it and they're pink or they're yellow, right? The power of this tool is not just in me being able to make movies and you being able to make short films and stuff like that. I see this tool being implemented into YouTube and generating tutorials for things that don't exist or haven't been made yet. Like AI, like I just shared, will be able to make things and give you references and say, yes, that's what I want, and move forward with it. I believe that that collaborative effort between artificial intelligence and us really is like the next version of the flow state. Because if you think about the flow state, like anytime I've been in true flow outside of making stuff with AI, it's always been in like writing or editing. And I believe that that's because they're like very much like you only, right? Like if I'm writing something, I'm the only one sitting there writing it, right? And so it allows me kind of just to dive into it, like reading a book, right? And same with editing. If I have my headphones on and I'm listening to things, it allows me to like get those edits right and like dive into it and feel it out. And I'm so excited to be able to do that with storytelling, like just in general, like editing with my imagination, coming up with these things and going, you know, like you're seeing here, backseat of and I'm going to play this video. I know I've been talking, but I just wanted to share that because I'm so excited, right? So let's watch the rest of this video.
Start falling into place.
It all feels pretty clear in my head. I see these like flashes of possibilities, almost like I'm traveling through dimensions.
I'm looking down at myself and my characters in these different worlds, and it's almost coming to life on their own, even though I know I'm in control of that narrative. It feels like it's almost building upon itself at some point.
You know? So you'll see what they're showing here. I'll show you in a minute. But right here is how flow basically works. I love how they show this in it because it allows me to explain it to you guys a little bit better. But basically, you can keep the flow of your creativity going.
Coming to life on
add another scene, and it keeps consistency of the character. Right? So now it's like, okay, I pressed plus and prompted for a new scene of this girl jumping
and it's
over
almost coming to life on.
Boom, it generates that scene and edits it already into it with audio and with consistency.
Their own, even though I know.
So then you do it again. Okay, next shot,
I'm in control.
Next shot. And you can even tell it how short or how long you want these shots to be, right? You could say, I just want her to jump across the water and I want it to be 3 seconds. If you've seen any other time I've been generating stuff, right? It's always been, okay, 8-second clip, or this is 5 seconds, right? And I'm generating 8 seconds, maybe 3 seconds of that is usable. What's interesting about Flow is it basically allows you, because it's baked in with Gemini and you're really talking to an LLM that's then generating these videos for you, instead of prompting something, you now have the ability to just ask it to do a 3-second video of her running through something, and it happens, you guys. Like, that is insane. That's insane. That's so cool. And so you're going to keep seeing that. You can drag and edit in the thing. So if you wanted to drag one side, just like if you were in Premiere, a video editor, and then
it feels
add
like it's
from that
almost
sequence or extend it. Like say she ran, you wanted her to run to a house.
On itself at some point.
She arrives home in a celebration.
You could have
to a celebration in the street. So that first half of that clip that they dragged to is now where the starting point is. And then you click extend and extend it and go, now she's running to I like that first beat, that first little bit there. But I want, instead of her running out in the woods, I want that second half to have her turn and run into a house. Boom. And then you generate it. And endings there,
to
right?
Your story.
So the work isn't built brick by brick by brick. It blooms like a spontaneous garden.
Exactly. And that's only something that you would have, I think, if you had creatives involved with engineers. And this is like how Apple and them dominated the tech space, is they mixed creatives with engineers, right? Let's take something that's very complex and make it easy for anyone to use, right? So just like he just said in this video, and I'll put subtitles on, but just like he said in this video, right?
So the work isn't built.
It's not, and you'll show you Henry's video too, a little bit of it, but the work isn't built brick by brick. This is exactly how filmmaking currently works, right? So you have to get each one of these departments to make each one of the bricks, and then as the director or the creative control person of the project, you put all the bricks together and then you deliver what you have, right? Whether it's a story, whether it's a commercial or anything like that. The cool thing about Flow is you don't have to go to an audio department and get the audio. You don't have to go to a voiceover department and get the voiceover. It's all just baked into the same thing. And when this all came together like this, I just don't think anyone expected for them to take that level of leap. And it's not perfect in any way, right? But it will get there. It'll get better, right? And it'll get cheaper.
Brick by brick by brick. It blooms like a spontaneous garden. It grows naturally, fully vibrant and complete.
I'm not forcing it. I'm just finding it. And that's when I know I'm in the right place.
So it has consistency. Bring your assets or generate your own. What's cool about it is you can just generate stuff straight in it from Imagen. So you don't even need another tool. And I'm going to show you that, right? Like you could just do text to image, text to video, or you could generate a million images and get exactly what you want. All of this is baked in with Gemini. So you'll see that you can save ingredients. So keep characters consistent or objects. Say you want them to constantly come to the same house, right? Or drive in the back seat of, like you're seeing here, a taxi with zebra print. And every single time they get back into the car, obviously this is a huge problem with AI right now. If I had a character leave their car and get back, the zebra print in the car is going to look different than it did the last time you saw it, right? That breaks the continuity. And some of this stuff is in movies, like they have, believe it or not, there's a whole job called continuity specialist that sits on set and makes sure everything stays congruent, right? Like you don't want somebody's hat to change color all of a sudden, or for a Starbucks cup to be left on a Game of Thrones episode, right? Something that should have been caught in like editing. But anyway, the ability also to do start and end frame, it has that as well. So you can have a starting moment and an ending moment. This is very good for like commercials and graphics too. Like I use it all the time. Like this graphic back here that loops is AI made, right? So I just took a start and an end frame of it being a lot brighter. And then I just put them both in there and clicked render, right? I didn't even put in a prompt. And all it did was had the clouds move and the lights blink. And now I have a graphic that sits on the TV, right? Which is pretty cool. So I use it a lot for those types of things as well. So you can see here, it's pretty seamless. They have camera controls, and some of this stuff is not available just yet in Veo 3 and in general, but it is pretty cinematic as well. Like it leans heavily into, like in general, Veo 3 leans heavily into cinematography skills and stuff along those lines. Here's a couple of people that have made things. I will just like tell you to go to I think you can watch this in here. I don't know if they just uploaded it or whatever, right? But this is something Dave Clark did.
Two adopted brothers face to face for the first
all
time in
Veo
forever.
2, I think.
Tension
I think
thick
he
enough
used
to
Veo 3
slice
for
with a
that.
sharpened katana. But let's take a trip back in time before these two reunited. Both lived very different lives. But somehow, they were drawn back together. Meet Liam Callahan. The mohawk, not a face, the jacket, been through 5.
So I'm not gonna play the whole entire thing. You should go over to Dave's channel on YouTube or go somewhere. I think he has a X account too. So like, go watch his content over there. But and same with Henry. I like Henry's as well because it's more of like a it's more about like creativity and like his upbringing and him always wanting to make. It's basically like a lot like my thought and story or the things that I've shared with you guys, right? He dedicates it to his parents, but it's like growing up with all these ideas in your brain and wanting to make things, you know, but then kind of like getting on this path of like, okay, I need to make money, right? And like being creative and making money in the way that you want to doesn't always work out, right? Like sometimes you'll get like 60% of the way there or like 70% of the way there where it's like, oh, I get to do video editing, but I still have to like build funnels or build sales pages or do all these other things that I don't like to do. You know what I mean? And I'm using myself as an example, but it's like, if I just get to do editing out of those set of things, then I'm like jacked, right? I'm excited. So his stuff is kind of similar, where it's like he's done a lot of different jobs and more creative stuff, honestly, than I have. But yeah, he shares that. So definitely go check his short film out. It's called Electric Pink. And that's another one of the ones that was utilized here. One cool thing, and like they have 1 free month, guys, for Pro. So I'm telling you guys all right now, it's available in 70 countries, and I'm going to link it here in chat, right? Hopefully that goes to both chats. There it goes. If you have a Google account, go sign up for this. When it says Veo 3 here, that's because that came out this morning, right? Up until this morning, you weren't allowed to use Veo 3, to my understanding. You were only allowed to use Veo 2. But now, everything that I'm going to show you guys, like I said, you can go try for free right now. So sign up for Google AI Pro for the 1 month free or whatever that they're doing on this. And I linked how to get there, right? To get Veo 3 and all these different things that I'm going to show here in a second. And then there's the Ultra plan, which has like ingredients to video, generation limits, top up credits. This right here, it's irritating. All right. Like this is the part that like kind of pisses me off a little bit about what Google decided to do with this. They don't allow you to top up credits unless if you're on the Ultra plan, which is $124 a month or $125 a month for 3 months, and then goes up to $250 after that. The fact that you can't top up credits down here means that when you spend that 1,000 credits that you're going to get for this, you're done. Like you can't use Flow anymore, from my understanding, because you can't buy more credits, which means you can't run more generations. And there's no like relaxed version where you can just like run it unlimited times. So that's unfortunate. But the 1,000 credits and Veo 3, 1,000 credits, man, Veo 3 cost 150 a video of credits. So it's like, how many videos do you actually get for that? What, 300, 600, like 10 videos or something like that, or less? 8? That's not a lot, you know, but 8 videos for free is pretty good, right? And if you stick to like Veo 2 fast, or Veo 2 I think is 100 credits, but if you stick to those, you can get a lot of bang for your buck still with this, but they definitely should allow you to buy more credits here. I don't know why they don't. Maybe it's just because they know everyone would not sign up for this, like me. I wouldn't sign up for this. I mean, I guess there's certain things here that I want, but you know, having to sign up for this, I did that because there was no real way to get to Veo 3 unless if you were part of the Ultra plan, which was weird, but that's just the way that it was when they launched it. So, yep, you can get the offer here. go get it. And now you can follow along with me, Bob Ross style, right? One last announcement that I'm going to have. I plan on doing a lot more content. Now I'm having a son, right? Next month, I'm having our first child, me and Hannah. So I'm going to have a hard time being consistent with streams, right? But I still want to stream, and I love streaming with you guys, and I love sharing the creative process. And I want it to be a little more laid back. So what I'm going to do is every Saturday or on the weekend in general, I'm going to try to do this imagination hour and talk a little bit about AI and how you can get started creating things with it and kind of point, guide, and direct you. And then any other time, if you see me live on YouTube or Twitch, I'm going to be doing what I'm going to call the generative sesh, right? And I made this cool little graphic or whatever. I don't know why it's not looping. There it goes. But I'm going to just be going live, and this might be, 3 a.m. in the morning. This might be 3 p.m. I'll give you like an hour's notice. You'll see it scheduled on YouTube, and I'll post on X that I'm going to be going live. But because I'm going to have a newborn, I'm going to have an inconsistent sleeping schedule until I do get on one. So I plan on just streaming my creative process on YouTube and on Twitch. So instead of, teaching like I'm doing on the imagination hour here, I'm just going to be like live, and you guys are going to watch me make shit. You know what I mean? And sometimes I might be smoking weed. Sometimes I might be, talking about movies. And that's why you see all these things in here. I live next to wineries. I love wine. These are meant to be relaxed. Like, think of them as sip and paints. All right. Like, that's sip and paints where you could follow along with me and make something, or you watch me make stuff and just hang out. Right. And hear me talk about stuff. I'm not going to monetize these streams, which will give me the ability to like talk openly about all this stuff. Right. Like, if I say certain things or do certain things on one of these, I lose monetization. I want to build this into a business that supports me and my family. So any donations that you guys give on here, or if you join below, which I'm going to share in a minute, how this is useful for you, you're supporting my stream, and you're supporting my dream of creating things for a living and sharing how you can do the same. So what's cool about these generative sessions is if you do join that, and it's like $5 a month here on YouTube, you just click the join button. All of the replays for these are going to be in there. So every single time I finish the stream on these, you're not going to be able to watch them anywhere else because they're not monetized. And I don't want to lose anything on my YouTube channel. I'm just going to flip them into members only after I get done live. And so if you're a member, you can watch the replays of these as much as you want. Like, say if I create a trailer, or a short film, or a film, and I was working on that process, and maybe you got to see me edit it, you got to watch me make the clips in Veo, do all the process, like watch me cook in the kitchen, right? You could go back and go, wow, 2 weeks ago he made this, and I just saw it go viral, or I see people sharing it. I could just go watch him make it and see exactly how he made it, how he put it all together. So I'm doing these live, and you'll be able to watch them on YouTube while I'm live. You don't have to be a member. But the replays of all of these are going to be member specific. And I'm doing that because I saw a couple other YouTubers do that. And I think that's how I can listen to the music I want, and not keep the streams monetized, but still get something out of them. Reciprocity. I'm giving to you guys. I'm showing you my process. I don't mind doing Q&As too on these. Like, I think that will be a huge part of these generative sessions, where like I'll just answer your guys' questions or point you more in the right direction. So yeah, and you can ask stuff in the comments, and I'll respond to the comments and stuff on there. So enough pitching, no more of that shit. Let's get into making stuff. Let's go to flow. So this is my flow, right? And I'll get the music back on here. This is my flow. So I've been using it quite a bit. I've already blown through all my ultra credits for the 125, and then bought another set of credits for $200, and I've blown through those as well, right? So I'm at the point now where I have to kind of like wait. I have 5,000 credits left over, so I didn't blow through all of them. I have more than enough to do stuff today and share with you guys. But it just goes to show that these models, and some of this is commercial, so I'm like making money off the things I'm creating here. It's not just like a money dump, and that's why I think you need to like take this and figure out a way to monetize it, whether it's uploading content on YouTube or TikTok that you create with your imagination. Make yourself a persona, right? Like I'm Variance. My real name's Matt Hollis, but I go by that because that's my persona on here. It gives me the ability to be creative and not really have it put me in a place where like I do marketing and all these other things as well, and commercials and stuff. So you'll see some of that stuff in here. Sometimes even on the generative sessions, believe it or not, you guys will see me make stuff for the commercials and for some of the marketing partners that I have. But yeah, so it's really, really cool when you do this as a job, because then it gives you the ability to play around with it, but like you're getting paid to play around with it, right? Like my dream scenario would be to just be able to sit in here all day and generate stuff, right? So I have a bunch of different categories. When you start in here, it gives you the ability, once you get into Flow, you're going to see a couple of things. You're going to see, and let me get the, and zoom in a little bit more with this. But one of the things that it has is Flow TV. This is pretty sick. Thank you so much, Melody, for the super chat. Love and appreciate you so much. I hope you're getting a lot of benefit out of this. But what's cool about Flow is they have like this Flow TV network right now, right? And it kind of just has like normal, like none of this stuff has stuff in it, but they have different categories, right? And this is just stuff that it's grabbing and people are generating, right? So this one's called Mondo Queso, and you're gonna see these are dolphins swimming through queso. But if you click on the prompt box, hide prompt down here, you can actually see the prompt that they utilized, right? You can always go back. So if I go back to the dolphins, right, I can pause it and look at this prompt, right? So we'll scroll down. High view, wide angle, static, extreme high view, wide length. This is like a long set of gibberish. I don't think that this is all needed, but to generate what you see here. But you can tell that either this person has prompted a lot. Oh, this is Veo 2, so maybe, yeah. But you can go through and watch and kind of be inspired. You know, there's this one person that I know that is an incredible Santa named Santa Corky. He's on TikTok and here on YouTube. And I sent this to him because like I always was like, hey, I want to create some type of short film for you. And it's like what Santa does in his off season, right? It's like what's Santa up to, right? So they have a whole entire channel dedicated to this on here. So I immediately was like, hey, Corky, look at this, right? So you can view all the different categories here or shuffle them. They have a bunch. But if I go to this off-season Santa, right, you're going to see a bunch of these different clips. All of these, you can see the prompts and what they're generated with. So we're still in Veo 2, you guys. We still haven't even touched Veo 3. So that's Veo 2. Everything you're seeing here is kind of like you can do this all for 10 of the currency or whatever. So we'll go back. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff I've generated, right? Some of this is I'm going to not show you because it's going to be spoilers for Jaws Suburbia, which I'm working on. It's like a short film based around Jaws because it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws, and I'm like in a shark obsession right now. And they're doing very well for my channel. Like every time I generate a shark, it's like a free 20,000 views here, 1 million views on TikTok. And it's like, you got to get into that monkey part of your brain and be like, no, remember, you're just making stuff for fun. Like, get off the sharks, right? So I just decided to take it to the next level, and it's like, it's my favorite shark movie. Of course, it's Jaws, right? Let's make a short film about Jaws in the modern day. And I'm not going to go into a lot of thought about the story, but it's like, basically, Amity Island gets flooded. Suburban area is flooded. Jaws shows up. You guys have probably seen clips of it already on my channel and stuff because I've generated a lot of stuff for it. I can't even tell you how many clips, like probably 1,000, right? Over multiple different generators, right? To get the stuff that I need for editing and to put it all together. And so I'll be uploading that on this channel and stuff, and the behind the scenes of how that is made as well. And all that will be free. You don't have to be a member for that stuff. So let's see some stuff. I have a random folder. I believe everybody should have a random folder, right? So if I scroll down here, I'm going to show you some stuff that came from Google Veo 3. So this is just me running through some of my old prompts. You got the alien, right? Some of this stuff might be scary. So what I like to do when something new comes out is I like to run some of my old prompts through the new stuff and just see what it does. So I had this old idea for this alien that walks in, and then like once they're seen, it's just they put the person into a stasis or whatever. So I use that prompt, and see, this is Veo as well. So it's generating the sound, and I'll show you what some of these prompts look like. So this is me just experimenting too, by the way. Dynamic tracking shot. A man frantically swims through the flooded suburban neighborhood with rooftops barely above water. The camera follows closely as dark storm clouds loom overhead, and a massive shark's dorsal fin breaks the surface behind him, closing in fast. No. So obviously I'm still learning how to prompt with stuff. This video took 150 credits and 3 to 5 minutes to generate, and I wouldn't say it's very usable, right? This is Veo 3, by the way. So he goes through the mailbox, he's under the water, nothing's really happening. So I'm figuring it out. I'm going, okay, maybe I'm putting too much on camera emphasis and things, and I need to lean more into telling the story, like saying what's happening instead of telling it what to do. It's like, and so I started leaning into that more, and believe it or not, that would be my #1 tip for you guys. If you're using Veo 3 or in general, is try your best to get away from prompting like this and try to get into a place of like writing a story or telling a story to somebody. So if you said, a man walks into a room and says, so-and-so, and everybody laughs, like if you described it like that, that is the storytelling sense of it. And you can write anything there, and I'll show you, you could legit throw that in here and get him to say or her to say anything, have a crowd laugh like it's a stand-up routine, right? So I kept going with different types of prompts and running through Veo 3 to see what it would and wouldn't do. It won't make vertical videos. Every single video is still horizontal, so I don't know why it won't. If you do ask for vertical anything, you get just bars on the side and stuff like that. This was done in fast, so this was Veo 2. And you can see here on the right hand side in flow, if it says highest quality experimental audio, that's Veo 3. If it says quality or fast, that's Veo 2. So this, I'm going to show you guys, is one of my better generations, and this was using somewhat of a mixture of the two prompt styles. So in this one, I said, overhead drone style shot, a shark's wake leaves spiraling ripples through the floodwaters of a drowned neighborhood. This is way more storytelling based than it is the other one where I'm like, it's flooded up to the rooftops, right? Like I'm allowing myself to be in more of a storytelling mode. And if I was telling it to you, I'd be like, the shark swimming through the water and a wake is left behind it. Through a drowned neighborhood, and you're like trying to envision it, but you're envisioning it yourself instead of me being more specific and detailed, right? A man clings to a chimney, scanning the water below. The camera pushes in slowly as the fin begins circling, creating a haunting sense of isolation and dread. So this is more, I would say, of a storytelling thing and less of a 4K, 8K, high quality footage, realism. You see none of that here, right? There's none of that in these prompts, and watch the result that you get when you don't do that. So I'll mute this and let it go over again, because the music and everything, the sound effects, is all added by Veo 3. That is sick. Like, in my opinion, when this came out, because I was having problems with it. Like, I was trying to figure out the right route to go about it. I was doing some horror stuff, all kinds of different things, see what it couldn't do. But I was like, I really want to make Jaws Suburbia, and I'm hoping that Veo 3 is the tool that I can use to do it. Because I'm at the point where I'm almost going to learn Unreal Engine just so I can make this, right? Because every single time I would prompt to get a great white shark swimming through a suburban area, half its body would be out of water. And it's like, if you guys have seen Jaws, and I know you probably have, you barely ever see Jaws, right? The suspense and the thought of where the shark is, and mostly his point of view, is why you're scared of going into the water, right? It's not the shark's face or its body or anything like that. So my goal is to try to emulate that in some ways and make my own short film based off of it. So this is a clip from that, right? This is easily usable. I don't even really have to do much with this. I might not use this whole first sequence there. Obviously, I would just use this on, but I'm going to show you what that kind of looks like, right? So if I click add to scene up here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. If I click add to scene, I'm going to put my music back on because it's cheerful. Now we're into the flow. This is like how it's built, right? I'll do that so you guys can kind of see it more. But this is their flow state, right? So I can scroll through here and see the entire video. So what did I say? I don't really like that first half. So I'm going to drag until I get out of that. Now it's, you know, I might have still gotten an inch of that. So let's just err on the side of caution and go a little bit further. I hate how this bar is hard to grab sometimes, but now we just have that beat or that little bit, right? That's great. Now you have this plus sign here, and you have a couple of different things down here. So you have text to video, frames to video, and ingredients to video. The first thing that I would do when I see this is I'm going, okay, just having that and then him going under the water is enough for this shot. I probably wouldn't extend this shot. If I wanted to, I can extend it. And the problem right now currently with extending is it forces you to use VO2 or quality VO2 or fast VO2. I don't think you can extend. Wait a minute. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. You had me freaking out there for a second because when I clicked on highest quality, this says 100 credits. So maybe they did lower it from 150 to 100 because they changed a lot of stuff this morning because of the outrage of everybody, right? But this is the 10 one and then this is the 100 one. If highest quality is the same amount as VO2, then I'm never using VO2 ever again, right? I would only use VO2 if it was like a shot that I knew it could do, but I didn't want to spend that 50 extra credits to get super high quality from VO3, right? But if they're the same, that's awesome. Like I'm gonna have a field day with that, right? My goal here is to make stuff that entertains you guys enough, whether it's teaching you or whether it's making films, to pay for me to do this as much as I want to, right? So it's like this loop where like I teach and entertain you guys more, the more I get to make things and the more money I make off of it. And all that like is going back into this because I really see this as like not just a future for some of you guys as well, but like my future for sure and where I want to be. Just a creator making content, making movies and stuff here on YouTube and uploading them and them being shared around, right? And that could be you too, right? Like I believe that the barriers for this stuff, I'm nothing special other than consistent, right? So, and I love playing and iterating with these tools, right? So, you know, that's a large part of it. So let's get back into this, right? If I hit here, you have two options. You have jump to and you have extend. Jump to allows you to still use Google Veo 3, which has experimental audio, which means you can say, I want audio here. So what I'm going to say, let's figure out what we're going to do after this shot. So we're going to watch it one more time and then we're going to come up with what's going to happen next. Now you won't have audio because I've cut it. I don't know why. Sometimes Flow either doesn't have audio or whatever it may be. I don't know if it takes the audio out of it, but I can always add it back in CapCut or in Premiere, right? So after I saw that, I would probably cut to it getting darker out. Like let's go a jump to, it's going to take hopefully the last frame of that. We're going to do this again because sometimes you guys, for whatever reason, I have to like save. It has the ability to save frame as asset, but I'll click jump to. And this is just like shit you figure out when you're messing around with these tools, right? All the time. This is why I'm saying just like have fun with it. Like don't get frustrated by it. Have fun with it. Like let it flow. Let your imagination run wild with it. Don't, you know, stop yourself from making things just because it didn't exactly do what you wanted it to do. See why that is and work on it, right? So when I click jump to here, it's hopefully going to take the last frame. So this is going to be the first frame of the next video. You're going to see sometimes it gets a little janky and weird with that, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to say it slowly becomes dusk. The shark continues to circle the rooftop as the man stares down. And one of the interesting things about this, yeah, jump in the guy's face in shock at the sound. There's so many places we could go with this, you know what I mean? And that's the fun of it. If I ran this and it didn't feel right, I would just delete it and then run it again. And that's why I can't wait for these tools to become cheaper, because all of us are just going to be sitting in this flow and go, that didn't really work. Like, let's just, or maybe that piece worked, and then you cut it to a certain amount and then prompt for the next jump to, or extend that scene a little bit. Like you're seeing them have her walk into a house or a festival instead, right, of a forest. So I'm going to say it slowly becomes dusk. The shark continues to circle the rooftop as the man stares down at it. And some of this is like, you know, I might take more time on my prompts or run them through GPT to clean them up a little bit myself if this didn't go right. But I'm just kind of showing you guys how it can work, right? So the shark continues to circle the rooftop as the man stares down at it. What other details do we want to add? I want to add him saying something just for the fun of it. So what should he say? I'll let chat decide. Anything you guys want. So he's looking down. I don't think profanity will work. So if you guys want, oh shit, I don't think it will do it. But let's do this. The camera then cuts to a close up of the man's face. He says, anybody got anything, or I'm going to come up with this myself? I know the stream's a little delayed, so I'll give you guys like a second to come up with it. I'm going to grab a drink. A sody. How do we'll do this. Oh, all right, I'm back. Let me bring the camera back up here. Hello. So, yeah, please help. That works. I'll do that. And I get you saying that it is time consuming. I get that. When you don't get what you want. Where is my wife? I actually like that better. He says, where is my wife? The horrified look on his face. All right. Now we have the ability, and because we have the credits, thanks Jody for watching. Appreciate ya. But if you want to generate more than one output, you can, and it will give you the option to pick it and keep it in the scene builder. So if I wanted to generate 4 separate clips of this next scene to pick from, I could. The issue with that is it's going to cost 400 credits, right? So in this case, because we're having him talk and that could go wrong, I'm going to generate 2. So that's 200 credits. How many do we have right now? We have 5,000. So if this is 100 now, that's awesome. You know, it's like 150 sucked. But anyway, we're going to jump to this next scene. So now we're going to sit here and we're going to wait for it to generate. It takes a little bit of time, but still it's like not that long. While that's generating, what we're going to do is we'll go back to Flow. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've made. So I like kaijus. And what is a kaiju? Godzilla is a kaiju, right? So there are these gigantic creatures that I grew up watching Godzilla movies and King Kong and stuff. So those are kaijus, and I've, the more AI stuff has come out, the more I've pushed it. I just want that kaiju Terminator like scene where like everything's getting destroyed in a city or they're like fighting each other, because I believe it's like such a good showing of like what the models are capable of, because you have multiple things happening. You have action, but it's not fast action, which no AI so far does fast action well. If you wanted a kung fu scene, you're not going to get it right now without mocapping it with two people that are actually doing kung fu, right? It's just not going to look realistic. But because these monsters are so big and because they shoot beams or they do whatever, right, they can be slow when they hit, which allows the AI, I've noticed, allows the AI to actually nail it to a certain extent. Like it gets it pretty close, and you guys are going to see that. So here's just a shot of somebody flying on a dragon, right? This is Veo 3. I just wanted to see if it could somewhat do a looping nature, because sometimes when you're doing establishing shots or you're doing something along those lines, you want something like, okay, this person's traveling between distances, right? So I wanted to see if it would just be consistent with keeping the motion of the dragon. It did a great job, right? Here are my transformers tests, right? So here's another one. Guys, this is just one prompt. You want to know the prompt? Visuals. So one thing I started doing too with my prompts, and this is because GPT recommended it after I got the Veo 3 prompt guide written, which by the way, you can go to the resources or go into the description below and get that prompt guide for free. All you got to do is take it, throw it into ChatGPT, ask it to help you write prompts for what you want, and you're going to get better prompts. I promise you, most of the time, right? So this is a visual. I'm describing different beats in here, right? So now I'm doing audio and I'm separating visuals from audio in here. So now, because I know that I'm talking to a large language model and I'm not talking to something that's eating my prompts up and needs very specific instructions, I found out going back and forth that I could split my prompts into two things and go, okay, visually, what do I want? Dynamic close-up of a biomechanical abomination's various limbs. Gears grind and steam hisses as it targets the ethereal horror, unleashing rapid-fire volleys of glowing green corrosive plasma that tear through lakeside homes and docks, leaving smoking holes, right? The audio, loud clanking and grinding mechanisms, the spitting and sizzling of plasma blasts, frantic screams from nearby, and hissing sounds of corrosion. So I'm splitting it up into two separate, and if you use the prompt guide with GPT, it will take any of your prompts and do this with them. It will split what you want visually and what you want auditorily up, right? And so that's how you get something like this, right? And this is 8 seconds long. That's all I did to generate this. It's a Veo 3. Right? Let's watch another one. This one, for some reason, and you're going to have this problem with Veo 3 sometimes, they just don't generate sound, which is like, okay, that sucks. But this is still really good, right? Based off the prompt. Not as good as the other one. I like the other one better, but that's pretty good. So then I went, let's keep going. I have some horror ones. I did some talking. Let's do spirits.
No, don't look.
So you can even prompt for different kinds of voices and stuff, right?
Don't look.
So this is just someone seeing it's supposed to be someone seeing a spirit and then it disintegrating and saying, no, don't look. It's kind of weird. It didn't really turn out, and that's why you'll only see it here, right? Getting into the kaijus, I wanted these two dudes to fight each other. Didn't exactly work out that way. This dude just throws a crystal in him, it explodes, comes out of his back, and he's just like, oh, that hurt, you know? This one looked a little more Marvel movie-like, right? But then the crystal, that is usable. Like I'd say right there, that's not bad. And then it twists into him.
Scream.
And that's the funny part too about Veo, right? In the prompt, sometimes you're going to see here, I have in audio, roaring charge of a brute, the sickening crunch of crystals piercing rock, a high frequency whine building to a blinding flash and an agonizing scream. for whatever reason, and this happens sometimes, and if you put this in quotations, you guys, you'll get subtitles for some reason, and they won't be good ones, right? So sometimes every now and then you're going to have it just say some of the words. I don't know why that is. So in this case, it literally says agonizing scream at the end of it. You got a few other ones here. Here's the dude doing some chaos, right? And I'm not going to take forever on these. This one's pretty sick. So it just goes to show, like, you can really make pretty cinematic shots right out of the gate and use these in your work. Like, so I got more kaijus. I got more, just a lot of shit, right? Here's, them fighting. Let's do one that's like bigger of them fighting. So here's me trying to do copyright stuff, right? I prompted for Godzilla. This guy is close, not exactly Godzilla. And then this dude's got some Godzilla traits, but pretty close. It gets what Godzilla is, you know. These two are supposed to hit beams together. That didn't happen. I got some stomps. Watch this. He like throws this car and then it flips and then it just like drives away. Right? So you're still gonna have that. And sometimes the best bet, especially with Veo 3, since I've generated a lot with it, is not to re-roll. It's just to be sometimes more specific with what you want. You know, if I didn't want that car to flip, I would probably go back to GPT with the prompt guide or write in here myself what I want the car to do exactly. So if I want it to crunch, then I'll say the car gets crunched into a pancake or something along those lines, right? Because when I generated this, I wasn't, I said spinning end over end into the air like a toy. So it did that, but then I'm like, didn't do it very well. Maybe it's too janky. Like even to this day, maybe Veo can't do a spinning car, right? So you just change your approach, right? You don't give up. You just go, okay, I need to rewrite the scene and need to change it. This one, these people are freaking out. Godzilla's supposed to be moving. He's not. This one, these people talk for. I said this is like NPCs in a video game. And in some ways, when shit like this comes out, I feel like I'm torturing people. Like, what is happening here, right? So I'm going to show you a couple more kaijus, and then I'm going to show you a couple sharks, and then we're going to look at the last bit, and then I'm going to wrap this up. We're already over an hour, right? And it is Memorial Day weekend. So we all want to get to drinking or doing whatever we're doing, right? Grilling. I love this one because he slams him into the wall, and the dude legit changes colors. So it's almost like he was charging up, and then it got taken away. And once again, this is Godzilla, pretty much. Like, he's red instead of blue in some areas, but you can see what I mean by, like, okay, it can do stuff very slowly. So the punches here, it's giving them noise. He's slamming him into that building. There's particles coming off. They're not exactly, you know, doing exact physics, right? And then here's another one of them on the bridge. This is different creatures. Hits the wall tears apart a little bit. So this is very cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with these clips, but I think I'll edit them into a trailer at some point. And then some of these are like, I tried doing extensions of them. Some of them are just weird and didn't work out. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but some of these are pretty sick.
What is that thing?
The voice stuff.
It's coming for us. It's right there.
That sounds like animated. But this is a sick shot.
It's coming for us. It's right there.
Here's another one.
What is that thing?
Yeah, the more detailed you get with the prompts, sometimes you're like, imagine over-explaining something to somebody, right? It's like, imagine they're incredibly smart and you're telling them how to gas their car, right? Odds are you just have to tell them 2 or 3 things and they get it, you know? You don't have to treat them like they're a 5-year-old, right? And so I think that's kind of where we're at with Veo 3 and with Flow in particular, because it uses Gemini. And I think Sora 2 will work the same way with ChatGPT when it gets released. But that's kind of where it's at, where it's like Gemini is going, all right, if you gave me a billion details or a longer prompt, and with Veo 3, you might get a better, because it's got better prompt adherence, you might get more out of it. But most of the time, it actually hurts your generation more than it helps to have long prompts. So these ones, believe it or not, look at how short some of these are and how long some of them are. So this is doing the visual split. And then some of these, I have just a colossal Cthulhu rises beside a lakeside town. It didn't do Cthulhu. This dude still looks pretty sick, right? He didn't have the tentacles. These I just, like you said, Golden Tails, this would cost a studio and a VFX studio a lot of money to make, right? And it's just super cool to be able to like flow and keep making things. Like I said, if I want to take any of these and change the way that they look or cut to a different scene, I can do that, right? I can cut them back and forth. One thing that I'm going to show you guys too, I'll go back to random. Let's see how our shark's doing, right? Oh, that'll be in the scene builder here. Okay, let's watch this over because we're done. Uh-oh. Like I said, this bar is a pain in the ass. Because sometimes I drag that instead, and it's like, why? Okay. Shark goes. We're supposed to cut to dusk. Oh, wait. Did I hit extend? So a couple of things didn't happen in that, obviously. And that's going to be one of the things that you're going to run into with AI tools in general. And that's why I haven't had a lot of stuff come out, right? So that's the clip. Basically, it generated 2 clips, but I don't get to hear the sound in the scene builder, which is weird. So here's after that clip. It just did. He didn't say, "Where's my wife?" Okay, here's another one. So I'm showing you guys why you should use a prompt guide, basically. Yeah, you could edit and do whatever, but I believe the reason that this didn't go the way that it was supposed to is because I was supposed to take this prompt, and you guys will see me do it right now. I'll go into ChatGPT. I like to use 4.5. Cling, I didn't ask for that. Take the handy dandy prompt guide here. Let me find it. It's so funny because it's like I named this the imagination hour. I don't expect most of these to be just an hour, but I take this prompt, right? And I take the prompt guide. I say, "Hey Nova," because that's the name of my ChatGPT. Of prompt rewrite. And we'll let Nova take a crack at it and see what we get. Because sometimes it's weird, because if you put, and I know that they'll fix this, but if you put it in quotations, sometimes you, like I said, you get like subtitles, right? And so the unfortunate side of that is sometimes the subtitles are even on the video, right? Instead of like on the black bar below. So then you're like, okay, well now I have to either edit this out or figure out a way, you know, go into Sora and prompt it to get rid of it. So here's the rewrite of that prompt. It slowly becomes dusk. The shark continues to circle the rooftop as the man stares down at it. The camera then cuts to a close-up of the man's face, and he says, "Where is my wife?" with a horrified look on his face. It changed it to a cinematic wide shot captures the suburban rooftop as dusk deepens, casting the scene of a dim golden hour shadows. The camera slowly circles from above, tracking the silhouette of a massive shark lurking ominously in the flooded streets below. The scene transitions smoothly to a dramatic close-up, framing the man's face in a shallow depth of field, eyes with fear glistening with desperation under the fading twilight. In a trembling voice edged with dread, he whispers, "Where is my wife?" The haunting silence is punctuated only by the distant splashes and the shark's eerie movement, intensifying the isolated and horrifying atmosphere. That's great. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Flow. We'll find our shark clip, right? Is that in here somewhere?
No.
There it is. Okay, we're going to do this again. We're going to go back. We're going to jump to. We're going to take the first frame out because I don't want that to be in there at all. And we're just going to jump. Oh, I guess you have to have the first frame in there. All right, we're going to get the first frame in there. We'll do this again. It's funny because this is what the generative sessions will be more like, except you'll be like watching me iterate on these. It's going to be funny because I think in a lot of ways, a lot of people are expecting this to be way easier than it is when it's not, even when the tools are this great. Yeah, I know the shark stuff, like it's interesting because the way the algorithm works, when it grabs onto certain things, it just like pushes that content heavily. So I'll have one video in a certain niche or category go viral. And when I say viral, I mean like over 1 million, 2 million views. And it will just like then reverberate to like 2 or 3 other shark videos. And so what that ends up doing is it like just then, like I said, every time I upload a shark video, it goes, I know who to feed this to. And then anytime I upload a horror video or something along those lines, it goes, I still haven't found you an audience for that yet. You're going to have to keep uploading those videos, right? So that's how you do get to like millions of views on here and on TikTok, because I've been doing stuff on TikTok as well. And that's been like popping off a little bit, right? Like this same clip that you guys just watched me generate, I showed you how to do it, has 1.5 million views on TikTok. And I uploaded it 1 day ago. That was yesterday. So it got 1.5 million views in a day on TikTok. Now let's go over to YouTube, right? Oh, that's Social Blade. Let's go over to YouTube and see what is happening over there with that video, right? If I go to content and I go to shorts and we find the exact same short, on YouTube, it is underperforming right now in comparison to my other shark videos. And, which means I would change the title on this. And this isn't a video about YouTube. I'm just showing you real quick. But I would change the title of this and see if it spiked up. But it's insane to me how the difference of algorithms on different websites work, right? Because I feel like I really have like an idea of how TikTok works, and I'm still figuring YouTube out. Like I thought without a shadow of a doubt that video would do good. And I don't know if maybe like the algorithm's just like hating me for some reason. Like I'm still getting 300,000 views every 48 hours. But like at one point I was getting like 1 million a day and it just dropped, right? I don't care. I just keep making stuff, right? Like it doesn't bother me. But most people would call this like the dip. This would be the freak out where you go back and you just start making like 50 shark videos. And I tried that, right? Like some of these you're going to scroll through and you're going to see. But the reality of that is like I can go through my content here and see some stuff that I'm really proud of that took a little bit of time to make, and I had to go through and iterate on it and spend money generating things, right? And they really just didn't get any views, right? And then some of the stuff that I've made, like there's this one particular one that I made with Runway, right? Why you should never swim in floodwaters during a storm. This is the whole short. So I did this all with Runway with the one shot from ChatGPT. This shot from ChatGPT, prompt in Runway for the camera to dip under the water and then come back up. Right? Pretty cool. That's it. That short has 152,000 views and has made like $8 and gotten me 51 subscribers. Right? So not that money is important, right? But when I said earlier, like you can make this into a living, you can, like just by coming up with stuff. Some of these videos have $37 that they've made, and that one would have way more if it was like later on. But if I go here, there's this one after I got monetized, because some of these I wasn't monetized. This video has 3.9 million views and has made me like $91, right? And you can go watch it for yourself. But that money I'm like taking, and then that's how I buy credits. I'm like continuing to push into those directions and make more stuff because I believe in what I'm doing here and what I'm capable of. I believe the technology is only going to get better and make, well, I mean, what you're talking about, Golden Tails, is like the faceless channel syndrome thing that's happening. And that's going to die very soon, because the moment that it becomes agentic, which will be very soon, it will be able to do this whole entire process for you. And then you're gonna have everybody making content that's gonna saturate it. I mean, it's already kind of saturated. Like the sharks going viral, apparently, I was just trying to make Jaws, right? Apparently my shorts went viral because making sharks with AI apparently is incredibly popular. I don't know why, like it just is, but like there's a lot of fake shark videos on the internet now. I don't think I'm the one that spawned that. I didn't realize they existed, but I just kept making content that I thought was interesting and uploading it. I used my YouTube channel and I used my TikTok as kind of like a journal, right? So it's like, oh, I'm excited. I'm going to create 3 things a day and I'm going to upload them on TikTok and YouTube. Some of them become viral and make me money, and some of them don't. It doesn't slow me down. I just keep being creative. And then I'm working on my larger long form videos, right? And I think you should be doing the same if that's something you want to be doing. You can turn this into a career and have it be faceless, right? Like I'm on here because I like the whole Bob Ross approach of sharing and you guys doing it with me and learning and everything like that. So yeah, go make yourself a persona, right? Mine's Variants. Just come up with a name. If you don't have one, use ChatGPT. Make a TikTok and YouTube, or a character, right? Because we have someone, Craig Jackman, on here. He's made a character named Owly, which is this cute little owl. And he's just making content every day or so of where Owly's traveling, right? And I expect some of those videos eventually to go viral and more followers to show up. And then before you know it, you could do brand deals. Owly could be sitting outside of Santa's workshop or whatever it may be, right? Owly could become a merchandise, t-shirts. You don't have to go the George Lucas route with your art, but you can, you know? It's just a matter of consistently trying it and staying in the flow of it. So that's kind of how you use flow. Those are my tips and tricks that I've used that have helped me. You've seen the rewriting of the prompt. So what we'll do is we'll go back here and we'll click this, and then we'll see what this turns into. No promises. Make sure that you switch back to highest quality. For some reason, it likes to switch you to something else. I'm going to do an extension, but I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to come back here and just generate it as a clip itself, right? And we're going to do it as one. So it's not an extension of that video. Sometimes I've had problems where I've tried to use flow, and then it's just like, it'd be easier to just get the individual clips, bring them into CapCut or into Premiere and edit it myself than use their editor. But I believe it'll get better, right? So we're generating these clips right now. We'll see what happens based off of the rewrite of the prompt. And to get that prompt guide that I have there, resources, infinitevariance.ai/resources are in the description. Click this big ass prompts guide here, and you're gonna see everything in here from Hailu, all the different generation tools. I've got prompt guides, and these are pretty extensive, right? If I go, let me find the prompt guide for Google Veo. So you can see in these prompt guides, it just goes through how to do compositions, how they take camera angles, what to say. So if you want point of view, say, for example, low angle shot of a hero standing tall or over the shoulder view of a detective watching the suspect. You don't have to read all this, right? You can just drop this into ChatGPT and then give it your idea and have it rewrite it. So it's even got genres in here, right? Science fiction, template, shot, angle, futuristic, where. So I have templates in this guide as well, and then examples of written prompts. All of this is free. Thank you for following, but all of this is free. So just go to click in the comments below or just go to infinitevariance.ai/resources. Click on that, download I would just download the ones that are useful for you in here, which will probably be the 2 Google ones for this, and then maybe the Sora one that's in here as well. So let's go back and see what we got. We're still in the process. This takes like 3 minutes or so. What I like to do is either watch Flow TV, watch YouTube videos, or go over some of my older generations, right? And see what I got. There's one in here that I have because I was trying to do more horror-based stuff, right? So this one, I wanted the camera to go under and have like all of these bodies connected together by like tentacles, right? Very creepy. And it did it pretty well with sound, right? So some of that stuff's pretty creepy looking. And then you get some stuff like this. Like I wanted a creature to come down and smash this guy. So I wanted to see if it would do blood, right? This is very weird. I don't know what the hell that is. But it does go down and it does create the blood. And that's pretty sick, right? There's more like creatures under stuff, right? So it can do horror pretty well. This is one of my favorite. These two are some of my favorites. I just wanted, I had this idea for someone just going out into the fog and then something appearing in the water. It's weird and scary. And this video is done very well for me. But that's it, right? And I'll say this, we'll finish up by like seeing what these generations are, but I'll tell you guys this. Just allow yourself to be creative and make stuff and just start uploading it. If you're sitting in a spot where you're like, what will people think of me using AI, or what will people think of me? You can do all this shit on your lunch break. Start making stuff, create a YouTube and TikTok persona, and start generating stuff, right? If you don't have any money, go to aistudio.google.com, go to generate media, and click on Veo, right? And I'll post this in chat as well. You can generate a certain amount of Google Veo 2 clips here, both 16:9 and 9:16 for 8 seconds for free every single day. And you can even use image reference. So I could take an image like this robot, right? This lady, and I could say, mechanical woman looks at crystallized hand, right? Now, of course, if I wanted to, I could take that, can you write? I actually do this nowadays. Watch this. Oh, allow all the time. Hey, Nova, could you rewrite this prompt for me, please? Right? Who has time for typing? And so now it's going to rewrite that prompt. A detailed close-up frames the delicate features of a mechanical woman. And here's what's really, really cool. I'll actually take this a step further. I know I said I was going to end this. I just can't for some reason, right? Let me find it. And this is why the generative sessions will be fun, because I can just chill for hours doing this stuff. Okay, so I grabbed the photo that we used and I use it as reference. Can you actually write the prompt based around this photo? So now it has reference for what I'm trying to do. Now it's going to think a couple more seconds and it's going to be like, okay, well, if you're trying to do that image, right? It's 4.5, so maybe more than a couple seconds. Coming in. And this is for Veo 3, but I think it'll work fine for Veo 2. We're just going to see. Cinematic close-up frames the mechanical woman standing beneath soft, natural daylight, filtering gently through lush greenery. And what's cool about this is, like, it's got the prompt guide. So you had the prompt guide for Veo, and you've generated this photo with Sora or ChatGPT or any of the free photo generators. You now have a prompt, right? But you can always, this is conversational. You can take it another step, and you can say, you have the camera go around her 360 degrees while she is staring at her hand. So now I'm telling it exactly what I want certain things to have happen, right? So now it's rewriting it. a smooth cinematic 360-degree orbit. This is why you shouldn't be prompting yourself. You should always run your prompts through an LLM with either a prompt guide or like, just bounce your ideas off of it. Especially when you're using things like Veo 3, because Veo 3 is expensive, right? You don't want to put in a prompt and say, like, a scroll runs down the block, and then it gets it in an art style you don't want, in a way that you don't want, right? So here's the other cut to. So it cuts to that. What did I say? One of my main issues. Shark is out of the water, right? And since this is in the... That one has no sound for some reason, but it might in another time. He still didn't say, where is my wife, right? I don't know why these two guys are looking at each other. The shark's back there. But what I would probably do, actually, I like that last bit. So I would probably get rid of the subtitles and just get this shot and use it as a cutaway real quick. So obviously, look, we had it rewrite the prompt, right? And still didn't get exactly what we wanted, right? Unfortunate, but that's AI, right? It's like painting with a paintbrush and you're not, the paintbrush is like worn down, or you don't really know how to use it or how to hold it. It's like, on occasion, it's just gonna, what did Bob Ross call them? Happy little accidents. These are like happy little generations, like misgenerations, right? So here's another shot. Once again, these all costed credit.
Where is my
right?
wife?
So that first half is worthless. That second half isn't.
Where is my wife?
He says, where is my wife? He looks freaked out. Like, it looks very
Where is my wife?
realistic. There's something going on back here, like a shark kind of running in the water, but I don't know what the hell that is. But that's usable. I could use this.
My wife?
So that's not worthless. I probably will use it. You guys will probably see it. So, all that to say, like, I can scroll through here and show you guys some of these kaiju ones and stuff like I was sharing. You could take very visual, big prompts like this one, dynamic tracking shot, one kaiju. Does so-and-so. What I would do, too, I'm going to show you one last thing. If I went back to that video that kind of didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, right? If I went back to this, what I would probably do at this point is then go back and say, hey, this is what ended up happening in the video. Like, he didn't really say what I wanted him to say, and the shark was out of the water. I'm actually going to do that because I can't stop, right? I'm having too much fun. So I'm going to get this prompt back. Let me have it. I'm going to take it back and say, hey Nova, I ran this prompt, and what ended up happening is the shark was out of the water and he didn't say, where is my wife? I also got subtitles on the screen as well. So is there any way that we can emphasize that the shark is under the water and we only see its dorsal fin? And on top of that, can we have the man say, where is my wife, and look frightened and scared? And also, let's make sure that it's dusk out. If we need to add more clarity for that, please do that. I was going to take all of what I said. Hopefully. Where did it put it? Did it put it under the prompt? It put it right here. So obviously I should have talked to it first before I copy pasted the prompt in there, and then I could have avoided having to do that. I still have to copy paste anyway, so who cares? But we'll see what it does with this prompt, and then I'll give you guys one more run on it, and then I'm using the rest of those credits for myself. I'm selfish in that way. I want to use those to make some stuff later, and I'm just kind of like spitballing and showing you guys here. So we'll let this prompt show up. I'll run it one more time in Flow. So now let's see what it did with the prompt. A cinematic wide shot captures a suburban rooftop at dusk, the fading golden hour light casting deepening shadows across the flooded neighborhood. The camera slowly circles above. Close my window because there's mowing going on. Through the murky water covering the streets below, the shark remains entirely submerged, its menacing presence conveyed slowly by the fin's movement. See, like, I don't know if you can read this. Let me zoom in. But that's where you can kind of keep iterating on it, right? So now I take this prompt, I told it the things that went wrong and the things that I didn't like. Now I can go back and do text to video, and let's try it one more time, and then I'll end things today. And these other two models, like I said, I'm not really talking about them too much, Veo 2, because those are more pickup models, especially if this is 100 credits now, which if I have 4,440, let's run this again and see if it is. And you guys might be asking, okay, so how, this is where I said it'd be great if you could buy more credits. This is going to cost people a lot of money, and this is how Google is going to become a $1 trillion company, and Sora, right? So everything takes compute. You're running this on computers. Veo 3 is incredibly expensive to run. You can't run it on any home computer, right? And it's a proprietary model too. So you have credits. Each one of these costs credits. You can buy more, right? 2,500 credits is 25 bucks. 2,500 credits is how many videos? That's like 15 or 20, right? Well, I guess if you do it by 100 now, it makes it a lot easier to understand, right? So 25 videos. So it's about $1 a video, or $1 a render. So if you just think about it and you go, okay, if I wanted to make a short film, and a short film normally is like 50 to 60 shots. Let's say it's 3 to 5 minutes. So you need 60 shots. We're still in that realm where this is pretty expensive, but it's less expensive than shooting a movie, right? So here's the free option right there. All you got to do is go back. I got that prompt from earlier, right? Of the 360-degree orbit. So let's run this since we're waiting on the other ones. And this free Google AI Studio also allows you to add a negative prompt. So over here on the side here as negative prompt, and I can just paste that in there, pick 9:16, and then hit run. And this is, like I said, all you need for this is a Google account. You don't need anything else. So we'll go back to Flow. We'll see where we're at with that. We're at 60%. I hope everybody's been enjoying this. I know that it's Memorial Day weekend and people are having fun and they're out with their families. So if you're watching the replay of this later, thanks for watching that. But and for everybody that's watching on Twitch too, thank you guys so much. I look forward to doing a lot. And I'm going to be streaming the generative sessions on Twitch as well. So you're not missing out if that's your platform you like. So here we go. That was weird.
Where is my wife?
I feel like if I could get Sora to get rid of that first fin, that wasn't too bad. Of course, sharks don't get right into the water. They don't get coated. So here's another one.
Where is my wife?
Guys, that's pretty good.
Where is my wife?
Like I said, for whatever reason, Veo, and I'm sure they'll fix it. Sometimes they won't say what you want them to say if you don't put it in quotations. But if you put it in quotations, it puts it on the screen. And so then it's like, shit, how do I... Now I gotta get an AI to get rid of subtitles, you know? They'll fix that. This is like dangerous. That's awesome. So you guys just saw, right? Like, what I really wanted was it to be dusk out. And I wanted this guy to say, where is my wife? Now, what I would have done probably is... added, like, if you extend it, you'll get more of like consistency in character, but there's also ingredients features and stuff, and they're rolling that out with Veo 3. I'm excited to like practice and try that out myself. But yeah, that's this, and then we'll go over here, and this is the free version. I think Veo 3 eventually will be available in the AI Studio as well. That's just aistudio.google.com/generate-video. But here's that video. So Veo 2 isn't as good as prompt adherence as Veo 3. So we did not get the 360-degree pan around her, right? But this is pretty good for free. The photo was free and the video is free. So now you could use this for a project. You could edit this in CapCut on your phone. Like, you could run all of this on your phone. So with that said, you guys, I don't know why it got so dark in here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this Imagination Hour. I love and appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate everybody that donated, everybody that subscribed, and everybody that supports me here on my dream of making stuff and sharing it with you guys. I don't know when my first generative sesh will be, but it will probably be this week at some time. I'll let you know like an hour to 2 hours ahead of time when I'm doing it. And then next week, you can join me on here for another Imagination Hour, where I'll probably be going over more Veo 3 stuff unless something crazy happens, like Sora 2 gets released or something along those lines. So thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you later.